Ah, welcome to grainy old South Florida. I bet that happens to everybody. I know it happens to you. It just happened to me. You just watched it. Let's think about what just happened. Got a good read going. However I read it. I'm thinking about that, and I'm looking at how this grass is growing. It's growing that way. It's going to be fast. It's down grain. But it's also going across this way, too. So this could be a fast putt that moves this way. And I can tell, not just from what I felt in the slope of it earlier, as I was standing there and feeling that and tapping down the little spike mark. Here's the fun part about spike marks in Florida. We get to tap those things down. The rules let us do that now. But now we really get to see which direction the grain is really growing. And this first putt of mine that I hit entirely too far it was down grain. The blades of grass were growing this way and that way. So they were down grain and going there. And I could tell that because I saw some hoof prints from the golfers that were out here before me. I can see them over here. I can see them over there. And it tells me about the grass. Now, when we play, we're not allowed to test the surface. We're not allowed to take our putter and drag it across one way or drag it across the other way to see if it's smooth or not smooth. But why don't we just use the evidence that's right already there? Why don't we look at an old hole cup, like right here? I can see the grain around this old hole cup. I'm not looking at the plug. I'm looking at the circle that the plug went into. And I can see which direction the grass was growing that way. And it's nearby my line. Chances are we don't have a lot of grain that's growing in a mishmash kind of a fashion. It's all usually headed about the same direction. So we've got spike marks that we can tamp down, and we see which way they're flared up by the way somebody walked and what we would do to tamp them down, and we see which direction they're going. So let's pay attention to the grain because, as you know, it's a big thing down here in South Florida. There's a lot of grain. It affects a lot of putts. Now, this other putt that I had, of course, this one was going down grain. It was going to go very fast. So that means the second putt of mine, I was going into that grain, and that was going to slow it down quite a bit. So I'm paying attention to the grass quite a bit. So I'm going to suggest that you do the same thing because you're going to save a lot of strokes. So let's think, look at the grain after you've read for the slope. The grain will grow out of that slope, but boy, will it have an effect on your putt.